everyone, I'm Ashanti. Welcome back to my channel as I minister to you. Today we're going to be talking about the art of detachment, but before I even get started, I just want to give a shout out to Nonchalant Destiny on YouTube, Nonchalant.Destiny on Instagram and TikTok. She actually created my intro and she made the process very easy and like worry free for me. So I just want to shout her out. Y'all go follow her, check her out. If y'all are starting YouTube and you want to have an intro where she does intros, she does the little banner on YouTube, and she also does your what's the little thing on your video? Y'all know I'm talking about, the little thing on your video. People see your video and click it. She does that too. So go check her out. So the art of detachment. So last week in the few weeks in the last videos I posted, we kind of talked about getting to know yourself, being a friend to yourself, and giving yourself grace. And now transitioning into this week, what God's really been like placing on my heart is the art of detachment, i.e. the art of loving yourself. The art of detachment is basically the ability to be present in the moment, letting go of expectations, and making calm observations. So just to give you a little background, growing up, I had a very emotionally and verbally abusive father. He would come in and out of my life when it was convenient, or when, he needed, his trophies, basically. He has very smart and high achieving children. So when it was time to, for award shows, graduations, things of that nature, things where, it looks good, look at my daughters, look at my son, like, look how they're performing. He would be in and out kind of like that, like when it was convenient for him. So, also he was an alcoholic. He was a functional alcoholic. He would start drinking very early in the day and be drunk all day. So this would kind of cause him to fluctuate between his emotions. One minute he'll be fine, one minute he's crying, one minute he's angry, one minute you're the worst person in the world, the next minute he never said that you were the worst person in the world. It was a lot. A lot. So to kind of put this in action, to give y'all a background of what I've been through and where I'm going. So he would come get me, let's say it's a Saturday or a Friday after school. He'll come get me. We'll do like a little event with his friends. Like, hey, this is my daughter. She does this and this and this. She's so smart. She's in this organization. She makes this grades. She doesn't give me any trouble. She doesn't have boy trouble. She doesn't do this and this and that. And this is my daughter. And then like at the event, like he'll be with the grown people. I'll be with the kids. Like it's never really like building a relationship. And then because he's drinking all day, once we got home, he's either irate because he's over being a dad for the day, or he's like sleep knocked out, or like he's reminiscing on his past, crying about something. Like, I'm sorry, that's not funny, but like that's literally what it was. So and then this was kind of heightened once him and my stepmom got a divorce, and my little brother was born. So my little brother was born before they got a divorce, but once they got a divorce, it's like I kind of stepped into the mother role when I was at my father's house. And mind you, I'm only like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So like I'm having to manage my emotions, my needs, because of course my dad's not paying us any attention, manage my safety. Now I'm also in charge of managing his safety, his needs, what he needs as a child. And as a toddler, they don't understand that, hey, you're not an adult. They just know that they need. So, and then on top of all that, we're dealing with him and his fluctuating emotions. So this would kind of like this kind of like set the tone, and like set the tone of like how I would deal with relationships and have like an anxious attachment, which I'll get into in a second, like growing up. My father being emotionally and verbally abusive, I was like the type of child, like I never wanted to be a burden. I never wanted to make my dad feel like he couldn't come see me, basically. Like I felt if I was perfect, if I didn't cry, I didn't do any, like I didn't complain, I didn't say, hey, Daddy, it's wrong that you're doing this. Like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this in front of me. I felt like if I just shut up, he would be there. So that's what I did. But over time, I'm dealing with you talking crazy to me, the boys crying, running crazy. I'm a kid, I can't handle all this, I will break down. And one thing my daddy will always tell me, we doctors, we don't show weakness, we don't show pain, we're strong, kind of like basically gaslighting his daughter into like not feeling emotion or not reacting to his negative behavior. So like I said before, I kind of internalized this behavior. I felt like I had to be the smartest, the goodest, the perfect child. I had to be the perfect Christian. I just had to be something. I had to give something in order to be loved or to be liked. I would allow people to like talk to me crazy or walk over me because I felt like that's what you had to do to keep and maintain relationships. And I also felt because I had to deal with his emotions, and I kind of had to gauge them, and deal with those emotions as a kid. Like I'm actually getting my master's in counseling, but like looking back, I've always been kind of a counselor, and I having to do that, I kind of felt like people's behaviors and emotions were my job to fix. So this manifests as a trauma response of my anxious attachment, meaning like of my anxious attachment is what it is. It manifested in like constant people pleasing. I would literally run myself to ragged. Like I would go to school, do after school activities. When I was in college, I would go to school, go to work. I would have organizations that I was in, and I had to do things for them. And then my friends, I would do things for them, and I would just be running myself ragged. Like I would literally give people my all, literally pour out of an empty cup, just so people could see like, hey, I'm a good person. You should like me. You should love me. You should value me. I will constantly like try to minister and preach to people and try to like help them fix their toxic behaviors. Try to, stand in the gap for people who didn't want to stand in the gap for themselves. And I would just like join all these organizations, be around all these people, kind of like a social floater. A people pleaser is a friend to none, honestly. So like a social floater to all people, just so I could feel like I had purpose and like I accomplished something. However, my heart desire of wanting to be loved for myself did not align with my actions. I couldn't expect people to love me for me if I'm wearing a mask. My mask was my accomplishments. My mask was this perfect person who didn't care about anything, who had no emotions, who was just on autopilot, handling her business, and like doing that for so long, it just weighs on you mentally. And it kind of sent me into a depression because it's like I was running myself ragged. So I couldn't expect people to love me, and I'm showing them, I'm not even showing them the real me. I couldn't expect people to love me, and if I didn't love myself or set the standard of how I should be treated or what my value is. I couldn't expect people to love me while offering my accomplishments or my willingness to be there for them at my own demise. Like, you can't expect people to value what you don't. So if you don't value your time, you don't value your space, your energy, you can't expect other people to. So it's like, I want you to value me, but I'm showing you that I don't value myself because I'm giving you all of me. If that makes sense. Especially like wolves in sheep's clothing, narcissists. I don't like saying that word because y'all use it too much, but people who are in and out to take advantage of people, they see those daddy wounds, they see that hurt, and they automatically gravitate towards you because they know they can use you up to the end. And they narcissists and people who are taking advantage, they don't really have the capacity to love anyone but themselves. So how can I expect them to love me? I would find myself like constantly putting I would constantly find myself putting how people treated me and how I thought people valued me over how I treated myself and how I value myself. And even now in my healing journey, I have to check myself like, hey, that behavior that they're exhibiting is not appropriate. We might not have to address it, but hey, we don't need to be around them anymore. Hey, this work environment is toxic. Let me move around. Like, I have to constantly check myself and let myself know like, hey, we don't have to deal with toxic behaviors or anything like that. Like, we can detach ourselves. And that's the art of detachment. Um, because like at the end of the day, I really had to sit down with God and myself and realize that I am the prize. If I never help so and so buy groceries, if I never help so and so get over this breakup, if I never achieve like all A's again, if I never, output all these great things, if I like, I'm not saying works and the things that I've accomplished are not important, but if I never was to be a student again, if I never was to be a counselor again, if I never was to be anything, a Christian, whatever again, I am enough. Like the song says, Jireh, you are enough because I am enough. Like God, when Jesus died on the cross, he set the price. He set the value. God calls us a masterpiece. The masterpiece is like priceless. He thought I was to die for it. You hear all those songs, but you really don't understand that like the price and the value has been set. Regardless of what you bring to the table, you are enough. And I really had to sit down with myself and say like, I'm showing up as myself authentically. That word trip Elmo up. Authentically, whatever the word is, Elmo can't say it, but I really had to just get to a point where I could show up as myself authentically, offering nothing but myself, because myself is enough. And it is not my job, like the quote says, the bees don't try to convince flies that honey is better than. They don't. It's not my job to convince you of my value, because my value is already set. A masterpiece doesn't have to argue and say, oh, I'm a masterpiece, this is my worth. It is what it is. So that just like really manifests into me, like I no longer feel the need to prove my worth to anyone. It doesn't matter what I've accomplished. It doesn't matter what I've done. If you look in the Bible, it says your works are folly to me. Your works are like menstrual pads. If you look up that scripture, it's really saying your works and what you have accomplished is nothing to God. So it's like none of that matters. I'm just, only thing that matters really is who I am in that moment and how you're treating me in that moment. I no longer feel the need to justify people's behaviors or their actions, because at the end of the day, just like I had my own things I had to overcome, my own trauma wounds that I had to overcome, everyone has their own trauma wounds. I kind of like to describe the world as a kaleidoscope. Like when you look at a kaleidoscope, it's basically a tube with 2 or 3 glass plates that are moving and shifting against each other to create all the crazy patterns that you see. But that's kind of how trauma and our life experiences are. Like we see the world through that kaleidoscope of our experiences. So how you see me and how you treat me is a reflection of you and only you. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. And I think that's something profound that we have to really grasp and understand, because so many times we feel like, oh, it's our job to save someone. It's our job. Oh, why did this person treat me like this? Why did this man do this to me? It don't have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. Because like I said, everybody has their own worldview. What people do to me is a reflection of them. How I respond to what you do to me is a reflection of me. And that's what the art of detachment is. I no longer associate my worth or my value with where I work. I don't associate my worth and my value with how people treat me. I don't associate my worth and my value about, what I want to accomplish in the future. I truly live in this moment. I no longer need to feel people or save people. One, I'm not God. God is the ultimate filler of the cup, okay? It's hard trying to be a human God. I don't know why Satan thought he could do it. Even as an angel, baby, being God is hard, okay? So it's not my job to fix you. People have to want to fix themselves, and they have to go to their creator and say, hey, I'm ready to work on myself. It's not my job to try to force you to see that this behavior is toxic. It's not my job to force you to say, hey, you're hurting yourself. It's your job to wake up and realize, hey, this is hurting me. I don't want to be this person. And you make that action. It's not my job to force you to make that action. Another thing that I really work on and working on is detaching myself from being worried about the future. living in the moment. If I plant the seed now, I know I'm going to get a return on it. I have a garden outside, and God really ministered to me the other day. He was like, you plant the seed, you water it, you leave it alone, you come back, you water it, you check on it every day. That's how we need to be. We need to plant the seed of what we want in the future and then water it and wait for it to grow. We don't go out there and uproot the seed every 5 seconds to see if it's germinating or if it's moving. We just trust that the work that we're putting in is going to produce a seed. So if we want a house, we need to be working on our credit. That's the seed. We want children, we need to be working on finding a godly husband and a partner. Whatever you're looking for, or whatever you want to accomplish in your future, it really is being present in the moment and planting the seeds and knowing that the harvest is going to come. And the last thing I want to just leave everyone with on this subject, John 2:10. They actually talked about this in church like a few weeks ago, and I was in my feelings. I wasn't really paying attention, but now that I went back, John 2:10, in John 2, it was like God's first, not God's, Jesus, well, God is Jesus, but Jesus' first miracle at the wedding, where they ran out of wine and God turned water into wine. So after God had turned the water into wine, John 2:10 says, everyone brings out the choice wine first and then the cheaper wine after. Guests have had too much to drink, but you have saved the best till now. My pastor really emphasized now, because when you read it, sometimes the translation will say later. God is not storing up his best for us for later. He's storing up our best now. That's prophetic. Y'all gotta catch that. He is storing up our best for right now. So enjoy now, work now, sow now, love yourself now, value yourself now, love the people around you now. Now is the time. And I think that's the biggest component of the art of detachment, and detaching yourself from all these worries and these cares is really loving and valuing your now. So yeah, that's it. So this week I just really encourage you to really look out and be grateful and value your now. Love y'all.